My name is Valentina. I am 24 years old, and this is the night my own sister tried to throw me out of what she called her house. At a perfectly set family dinner table, with candles flickering and fake smiles passing around like salt, my sister leaned back in her chair, looked me straight in the eyes, and said, "You have until tomorrow morning to get out of our house." Not the house, our house. And just like that, everything I thought I knew about family, love, and loyalty shattered into pieces I could almost hear hitting the floor. No warning, no discussion, no hesitation. Just a sentence that felt like a death verdict. The worst part? Everyone else at that table stayed silent. My parents didn't defend me. My brother didn't look at me. And the man sitting next to her smirked like he had just won something. That was the moment I realized I wasn't just unwanted. I was being erased. But what they didn't know was this. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to cry. And I definitely wasn't going to leave empty-handed. Because if they wanted me out, I was going to make sure they lost everything first. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me, where are you watching this from, and what time is it there right now? And if you feel stories like this, if you've ever been betrayed by your own people, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this story, it only gets darker from here. Dinner at our house used to mean laughter. At least that's what I used to believe. That night, everything looked normal on the surface. The dining table was covered with a white lace cloth my mother only used on special occasions. The plates were arranged perfectly, the cutlery aligned like soldiers, and the smell of roasted chicken filled the room. But something felt off. I noticed it the moment I walked in. No one greeted me. Not my mom, not my dad, not even Sofia, my older sister. Sofia, who used to hug me the moment I came home, now didn't even look up from her phone. I forced a smile. "Hey, what's the occasion?" I asked, trying to sound casual. My mother avoided eye contact. "Just sit down, Valentina." That was the first red flag. Just sit down. No warmth, no explanation. I took my seat slowly, my eyes scanning the table. That's when I noticed him. Daniel, Sofia's boyfriend. No, fiancé. He sat beside her like he owned the place, his arm casually resting behind her chair, his fingers tapping lightly like he was bored or waiting for something. When our eyes met, he gave me a smirk. Not a smile, a smirk. The kind that says, "I know something you don't." A chill ran down my spine. Dinner started quietly. Too quietly. The only sounds were forks clinking against plates and the faint ticking of the wall clock. Every second felt louder than the last. I tried to break the tension. "So, Sofia, how's the wedding planning going?" She didn't answer immediately. She took a sip of her drink, set the glass down slowly, and then finally looked at me. That look? It wasn't sisterly. It wasn't even neutral. It was cold. Calculated. "Actually," she said, her voice calm but sharp, "that's something we need to talk about." My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" I asked. She leaned back in her chair, crossing her arms. "You've been living here long enough, Valentina." I blinked. "What?" "And with the wedding coming up," she continued, ignoring my confusion, "we need space." I felt my heartbeat start to race. "Space?" I repeated. "Sofia, this is our house." That's when she said it. That sentence. The one that changed everything. "You have until tomorrow morning to get out of our house." Silence. Complete silence. For a moment, I thought I misheard her. I looked at my parents, waiting for them to correct her, to laugh it off, to say she was joking. But they didn't. My father kept eating. My mother stared at her plate. And just like that, reality hit me. This wasn't a joke. "You're serious?" I whispered. Sofia didn't flinch. Very. I felt something crack inside me. Where am I supposed to go? I asked, my voice trembling despite my effort to stay strong. She shrugged. I'm sure you'll figure it out. You always do. That was the moment I realized this wasn't sudden. This was planned, carefully, quietly, deliberately. I turned to my parents. Mom, Dad, you're okay with this? My mother finally looked up, but her eyes were filled with something worse than anger, guilt. For the best, she said softly. For who? I asked, my voice rising. For her? For him? I glanced at Daniel. He didn't even try to hide his satisfaction now. That smirk again, that same knowing smirk. And suddenly it clicked. He was behind this. I could feel it in my bones. This wasn't just Sofia's decision. This was his move. I see what's happening, I said slowly, pushing my chair back. Sofia raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? Enlighten us. I looked directly at Daniel. You wanted me out, I said. He chuckled, leaning forward slightly. Don't flatter yourself, Valentina. This isn't about you. But his eyes said otherwise. They were too confident, too sure. And that's when I noticed something else. My father's hand slightly trembling, my mother's silence too heavy. They weren't just agreeing, they were scared. Scared of what? Or more importantly, scared of who? I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. Fine, I said. Everyone looked at me, surprised. Fine, I repeated, my voice steadier now. But just so we're clear, my voice dropped, colder than I had ever heard it before. This isn't over. For a split second, something flickered in her eyes. Doubt. Fear. But she quickly masked it. Good, she said. Then we understand each other. I gave a small nod, but inside, something had already changed. They thought they had won. They thought they had pushed me out of the house, erased me, made me powerless. But what they didn't realize was this. They hadn't just forced me out of the house. They had just given me a reason to dig deeper, a reason to uncover every secret they were hiding, and most importantly, a reason to destroy everything they thought they controlled. Because if there's one thing about me they forgot, I don't break, I adapt. And that night, as I packed my bags in silence, I made a promise to myself. I wasn't leaving as the victim. I was leaving as the storm they would never see coming.
I didn't cry that night. Not when I walked into my room. Not when I pulled my suitcase out from under the bed. Not even when I started folding my clothes, the same clothes I had worn in a house I once called home. Because something inside me had already shifted. Tears belong to people who still expect kindness. I didn't. The silence in the house felt different now, heavy, watching, like the walls themselves knew something I didn't, yet. I moved slowly, carefully, not like someone defeated, but like someone thinking, planning. Every drawer I opened felt like closing a chapter of my life. Old photographs, birthday cards, a dried rose from years ago, little pieces of a girl who used to believe she was loved here. I paused when I picked up a framed photo. It was me and Sofia. We were younger, smiling, arms wrapped around each other like nothing in the world could come between us. I stared at it for a long moment, then quietly placed it face down in the drawer. That version of us was gone, and deep down, I had a feeling it didn't just disappear overnight. Around midnight, I heard footsteps in the hallway. Soft, careful. I turned off the moonlight instantly and stood still. The footsteps stopped right outside my door. A pause. Then whispers. I moved closer, my heart pounding, but my mind sharp. She's leaving tomorrow, Sofia's voice murmured. Good, the sooner the better. My jaw tightened. So this really was about me. But then Sofia said something that changed everything. Are you sure she doesn't know anything? Silence. Then
Daniel let out a low chuckle. She has no idea, and even if she suspects something, it's too late. Too late? My breath caught in my throat. What were they talking about? Sophia sounded uneasy. I just don't want any complications before the wedding. There won't be, Daniel said firmly. Once she's out, everything falls into place. Everything falls into place? That wasn't just about space in the house. That was something bigger, something planned, something dangerous. I stepped back quietly, my mind racing. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was strategy, and I was missing a piece of the puzzle. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I started thinking like someone they didn't expect me to be. I replayed everything. Sophia's sudden coldness, my parents' silence, Daniel's confidence, that strange fear I saw in my father's hands. And then it hit me. This wasn't about kicking me out. This was about removing me, like I was in the way of something. But what? At 2:17 a.m., I made a decision. If they thought I was leaving quietly, they didn't know me at all. I grabbed my phone and opened the shared family drive. We used it for everything. Documents, bills, old files, stuff no one ever bothered to organize properly. Which meant it was full of secrets. At least that's what I was hoping. My fingers moved quickly, scrolling through folders. Taxes, property, legal. Legal? I frowned. I had never seen that folder before. My heart started pounding again, not from fear this time, but from instinct. I tapped it open. Locked. Of course. I almost laughed. Did they really think I wouldn't try? I stared at the password screen, thinking, Sophia wasn't creative. She never had been. I tried her birthday. Wrong. I tried Daniel's. Wrong. Then I paused. A memory flashed in my mind. Years ago, Sophia used the same password for everything. One word, one name. I typed it in slowly. Valentina. Enter. The folder opened. I froze. For a moment, I couldn't even breathe, because right there in front of me was proof. Documents, contracts, property papers, and my name everywhere. My hands started shaking as I opened the first file. It was a property deed. The house. This house. I scanned the page quickly, my eyes locking onto the ownership section. And then, everything went silent. Because the name listed as primary owner wasn't my father's, wasn't Sophia's. It was mine. Valentina Reyes. I felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. This didn't make sense. I kept scrolling. Another document. A trust agreement. My name again. Then a note signed by my grandfather. The same grandfather who passed away 3 years ago. The one who always told me, "You're stronger than you think, Nina." I opened it with trembling fingers and read, "To my granddaughter Valentina, if you are reading this, it means the truth has been hidden from you. This house and everything tied to it belongs to you. I have placed it under your name to protect it and to protect you. Be careful who you trust." My vision blurred. Protected? From who? I didn't need to guess. I already knew. Suddenly, everything made sense. The fear in my parents' eyes, Sophia's urgency, Daniel's confidence. They weren't just kicking me out. They were trying to take something that wasn't theirs. My house. My heartbeat turned steady, cold, focused. This wasn't pain anymore. This was clarity. They thought I was weak. They thought I didn't know. They thought they could erase me before I ever found out the truth. But they made one mistake. They pushed me too soon. I quickly downloaded every document onto my phone, then backed them up twice. If they wanted a game, I was ready. At exactly 4:36 a.m., I zipped my suitcase shut. But this time, it felt different.
I wasn't packing to leave, I was preparing to return, stronger, smarter, and far more dangerous than they ever imagined. Before walking out, I took one last look at my room, at the life I was supposed to lose, and I smiled, a small, quiet smile, because for the first time since dinner, I wasn't the one being cornered anymore. As I stepped into the hallway, I noticed something unusual. Sophia's door was slightly open. Inside, I could see her and Daniel asleep, peaceful, carefree, like nothing could touch them. I stood there for a moment, just blushing, and then I whispered softly, just loud enough for myself to hear, "Enjoy it while you can." Because what they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the girl they tried to throw out was the one who owned everything they were standing on. And I wasn't coming back to beg. I was coming back to take it all back. And this is the moment they realized they messed with the wrong person. I didn't come back angry. I came back prepared. 2 days later, I walked into that same dining room, not as the girl they threw out, but as the owner of everything they had tried to steal. The lawyer stood beside me. The documents were placed on the table, and for the first time, Sofia looked nervous. "What is this?" she snapped. I smiled. "Your eviction notice." Silence. Daniel stood up, furious. "You think this is a joke?" "No," I said calmly, "but everything you did was." I watched their confidence crumble as the truth unfolded. The house, the assets, everything, legally mine. My parents, speechless. Sofia, shaking. Daniel, exposed. "I had one night to throw me out," I said softly. "I'm giving you 24 hours to leave." This time, no one argued, because power had shifted. Completely. As I stood there, I realized something. Revenge isn't loud. It's not chaos. It's control. And I didn't just take my house back. I took my life back.